All right. Hi, everybody. This is John, the Tabletop Engineer. Sorry, I'm about 30, actually 40 minutes late, and I do apologize. I meant to start this live stream at about 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and I've just been having major difficulties. For the longest time, it just sat there saying going live, going live, going live, but then it never said you are live. So I rebooted the computer. That didn't seem to work. I've moved upstairs. That doesn't seem to have done it. So, I mean, the speed is the same. Nothing has changed. So, just again, apologies. I will try to get this pinned down so that future live streams are better quality. But again, I don't have anybody on right now. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint, which is I've got all my paint stuff brought up, and I'll just chat it up by myself. Okay, it looks like we do have one person on. Before I get going, I just want to I want to make sure the sound and video quality is okay. If somebody's out there and they don't mind letting me know, that would be great. If you can't, that's okay. But I do apologize that it's taken me this long to get online for some reason. I'm having issues with YouTube tonight. So I've got the chat enabled. Do I? Yeah, I got the chat enabled. So if you're listening and you wouldn't mind, is the video quality, or are they okay, bad, good, whatever? Just let me know. My plan is to do some painting and just talk with anybody who's here. I just got a thumbs up, which I think that probably means that it's okay. I don't know. We'll see. So what am I painting tonight? Well, I'm painting some constructs, two of them. Before I weather them or give them a dark tone wash, I want to paint some. They have runes on them, which is like they're enchanted. I can see. Looks clear to me. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And do apologize if you were here at 7:30. I've been having tech difficulties getting YouTube to launch or YouTube Live to launch, but finally got it figured out. So I'm going to be painting these two guys. I'm going to try to finish up Galactus tonight. I've got to do his face, his collar, and I think his belt. Yeah, the back of his belt up here. I got to do that. And then I've just some regular little minis to do for some other games I play. So again, let me apologize for the delay, technical issues. I would have been on here 30, 40 minutes ago, but I have been fighting with YouTube to get me a signal. All right. So if you want to chat, I've enabled the live chat. You can post questions. You can ask each other questions, whatever you'd like to talk about tonight. I just sort of randomly chat about whatever is on my mind. So let's start with, because the paint takes a little longer to dry, I'm going to start with Galactus because I can paint his belt. And then once that dries, I can start while it's drying, because it takes a little longer, I will paint some of the other minis. So today I was fortunate enough, I had a good friend from out of town, one state over, Brian. He came and visited me, and we played a game of Frostgrave, which was awesome. I usually do not get to play Frostgrave competitively against another player. I usually play solo, but he'd never played Frostgrave before. So I set us up, and I'm going to be sharing that video probably in a few days. I need to edit it and get it all put together. But it was really fun. We played a standard game with 5 treasure tokens. I hate to brag, but I got 3 out of the 2. But Brian did, for his first game, he did very well. He took out my characters, my barbarian, which, I mean, to a point, I don't know if I would have risked my barbarian in a one-off game, yes, but in a campaign, I don't know if I would have done that. But he took out my barbarian, and he also defeated the one of these came into play. And that was really interesting because it's funny. It was his first game of Frostgrave. Hey, Eric. It was Brian's first game of Frostgrave. He printed these for me a while back. This was the first wandering monster that appeared in the game. We actually rolled randomly, and the large construct came up. So it was just sort of meant to be. That was the universe letting us know that we were on the right path. But it was kind of funny that his first Frostgrave game would call one of the random creatures that he actually 3D printed for me. So this is Galactus, and you know what? I need more light. Well, no, I don't. Galactus, this is a miniature for the for the Marvel United game. And as you can see, it's quite large. The normal minis are small, like this size. There's a Black Widow. So you can see that Galactus is a pretty good size. Galactus comes with a custom scenario. Well, I think about more than one. There's different ways you can play him. But I've been really wanting to get this painted so I could play with my son and take on Galactus. I haven't painted the Fantastic Four yet, which I've just got so many minis to do. You can fight Galactus with any of the heroes if you have them. So we'll see. I'm hoping to play a game this weekend against him if I can finish him up. He was kind of fun to paint. I mean, he's just awesome looking. The characters that come with him, yeah, it is. It's a good size, and it makes for an excellent desk ornament. You know, if you're not playing the game, you can at least put it on your desk. I would never bring this to my old job. I have too many nerds that work there that would take it from me. They wouldn't steal it; they'd just take it and hide it, and it would make a piece in various places like the server room and stuff. That was the kind of people I worked with. Funny, but no, I would not want to risk losing this. Believe it or not, this is only the expansion that comes with this two or three minis that are his minions. It was $60. That's the list price. I think that price alone, even if you don't want to play the game, just to have a Galactus this size to paint up for 60. I don't know if I would have spent $60 on him by myself, but I am a fan of Galactus. I just think he's pretty cool, just roaming the universe, eating planets for energy. But I couldn't say no to it. So yeah, it is. Hey, there's Craft. I'm sorry, Craft. I got Eric mixed up with, I think, Bill. I'm trying to remember names matched with usernames, and sometimes I mess that up. So again, guys, if you're coming on a little later, I was supposed to be here at 7:30. I had some real technical difficulties. I actually didn't get home to eat. My wife's out of town. So he and I went, and we lost track of time. Well, I'll blame him, but technically it was me. I lost track of time. So when I got home at 7:40, I started trying to get the YouTube launched, and the live would not launch. I was worried that it was something on my end, but I don't think it was. I think there was something going on with YouTube for a while there. Because no matter what room I was in, I'm upstairs. I'm not in the workshop. Didn't matter the room, a reboot didn't work, nothing. And then all of a sudden, it started working. So I'll take it. But again, apologies. I will try to be more prompt next time, and hopefully test YouTube to make sure it's actually working. What I need to do is get used to using Discord as a communication tool to let out to people that, hey, I'm running late, or hey, I had to cancel tonight. But I didn't want to cancel tonight because I really, like I said, my down. And so I feel like I can get some stuff done tonight, like some writing and some painting and things like that. So, yeah, we'll go an hour minimum. I might go 2 hours just because I've got a lot of minis to paint here. So I hope some of you guys are doing some painting this evening. If you are, you feel free to post a picture or something. I am Groot. Oh, wait, no. You are Eric. Yeah, I knew you were. I was like, oh, that's Eric. So, yeah, like I said, I had my friend Brian over today, and we played a game of Frostgrave, and it was fun. I love playing Frostgrave solo, but I also enjoy playing it competitively. I prefer playing with a campaign where you level up your wizard. But we aren't going to be able to do a campaign with the distances between us. We could, but it would be, another month before we could get a game in, and it's just not conducive. But what I'm hoping is I'm hoping he got a good enough idea of how to play Frostgrave that he can introduce his gaming friends or maybe his family and play. Frostgrave is it is probably my favorite, if not top 3. I would say it's my favorite game to play. So when he asked me if he could come over sometime, and I said I didn't know when he was going to take me up on the offer, but he had called and said, "Hey man, sometime I'd like to come over and you teach me Frostgrave." I said, "Yeah, come on over." So he texted me a few days ago and said, "Hey man, I'm going to be in Atlanta. I'd like to come and learn." I said, "Bring it." So I played an enchanter. So did he. I just made us the same wizard, so it'd be easier for me to go over the spells and things since we're casting the same spells. And also I just thought it would be fair for him that I'm not playing some super powerful wizard and giving him like, something weak. I guess I could have given him something powerful and myself something weak, but I want to play the game and enjoy it. So that's why I chose to play us both as enchanters. I think Enchanter, if you don't play the game, in my opinion, Enchanter is one of the better introductory wizards. Their spells are pretty forward. They got some good spells, good low casting numbers, so you can cast successfully quite a bit. Some of the other wizard types or magic schools, they're just trickier to play, and I didn't want to give Brian a tricky one for his first time playing Frostgrave. Your video got me into Frostgrave. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'm a big fan of the game. I've been playing it. When we were talking today, when I was talking to Brian, I couldn't believe it. I've been playing Frostgrave since 2014, 11 years. I don't remember the exact month and all, but I do know it was 2014. Man, time flies. I'm sure there are people out there that have played like, I don't know, Warhammer for 20, 30, 40 years, but I think Frostgrave is probably the game I have played the most and for the longest period of time. So I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that other than the game, through maybe some of my videos and stuff, that makes me happy. Because you just, when you play the game, you just never know how other people are if they're gonna be as excited about it as you are. When I first saw it, I forget how I got introduced to it. I saw something on the internet about. Oh, I know what it was. I did enjoy some of the older Osprey games, the Blue Books. I don't know what those are, but they're these basic one-off war games that they sell, and they come in this little paperback. They're blue. And I think I was following their newsletter or something, and I got a notice that they had a new game coming out, a fantasy wizard war game called Frostgrave. And it talked about the frozen city, and it gave all this backstory. And I was like, that sounds awesome. And I had been looking for a war to get into. Some of my friends wanted me to get into Warhammer, and I did not like Warhammer. I played Warhammer a couple times. Didn't know what I was doing, but I do know we rolled a ton of dice, and I just didn't like that. I wanted something smaller. Now, I didn't know what I don't even know if the term was in existence, but I didn't know what a skirmish war game was. But when I heard about Frostgrave and it said you only need 10 miniatures, I was like, ooh, no, that's not bad. And it said there was going to be a line of miniatures coming out, if I remember right, like, that you could assemble and paint. And at the time, I didn't have a huge collection of miniatures. So not only was Frostgrave my introduction to skirmish war games, it also allowed me to build up my miniature collection. Because when you bought one of their boxes, it came with 20 bodies, 20 heads, 20 bodies. You could mix and match them and customize it. And so that was my first games of Frostgrave were using the soldier box soldier box, and I used some D&D wizard minis until the wizard box came out. So now when someone finds Frostgrave, they've got all these boxes of minis that they can immediately get into and cut and create their warband. All these expansions, none of those expansions existed. It's really cool to have seen the game up and develop over time, and Joe is still putting stuff out for it. There's another expansion coming out in May or June, I believe. Jim got me into Frostgrave. Nice. I love it. I have not personally tried Warhammer, but I know people love it. It also seems to... No, listen, I don't fault people for enjoying the game. It offers something to them that they enjoy. I just never enjoyed chucking a lot of dice. And the first time I played, I was rolling. The guy had provided me an army, and I was rolling like, I don't know, 20, 30 D6 dice. And then for each hit, I would roll more, or he would take up my dice and see if they defended. And I was just like, this just isn't what I imagined for a war game. Now, I grew up in Pensacola, Florida, and all I knew of war games were military games, because in Pensacola, which is a military town, the gaming community there was mostly retired military guys, Navy pilot. They were into the historics. So that was what inevitably I never really played history. Well, that's not true. I did play a couple, but I was a kid and I wasn't taken very seriously. So as much as I admired it and I loved the terrain, because back then these guys made their own terrain. There was no buying terrain in a store. There was some, like you could buy terrain that was lanes. A lot of hobbyists that were into the modeling, train modeling, that stuff would turn over to the war game, like trees and smoke and stuff like that. But yeah, it was back then. It was if you needed to build a colonial style house, you just crafted it out of cardboard and whatever else you could kludge together. But I sometimes wish I could go back in time and visit some of those old games that I go to Pensacola and go to the mall, because the historical society, the guys there, that's where they would play. Usually they would set up these tables. And I think they set them up to get attention, like, and it worked. It got my attention, but I think they're sort of setting it up in public so that they could recruit more guys, because Pensacola is a Navy town. All Navy pilots go through Milton, Florida, which is a town over, which is really my hometown. And so you had a nonstop audience of military guys coming through there just all the time. So, but yeah, my history with wargaming goes back quite a bit. It's just I really didn't play wargaming seriously until I got older, had kids, and then started having some free time when the kids got a little older. D&D led me back to wargaming, believe it or not. I started playing D&D, and I loved miniatures. I loved painting the miniatures and all, but I really just wanted to play a war game, not so much D&D. And that's how I got into wargaming. Was watching one of your Frost Rage videos. It looks like a fun game. It is. KNGLERXSE. Is it King? I don't know. I'll just call you King. Okay, is that okay? KNG. I'll just refer to you as King. Frostgrave is fun. If you want to play a war game and you haven't tried it, it's a inexpensive game to get into. The rule book is like, I don't know, $30, and it's all you need besides miniatures and dice. That's it. 2D20s, some miniatures, and the rule book. And you don't need terrain. You can use, first time I played Frostgrave, we played with cardboard boxes and some Lego stuff. And it was, I wish I had taken a picture back then. I just never thought to do it, to document it. But the first game I ever played of Frostgrave, I played it against a friend of mine who was a D&D player I knew. And we sort of didn't really know what we were doing, but we plotted through. But we used books, and we had a shoebox on the table, and we had some Lego stuff. I think there was a can of soup. We took the can of soup, put a towel over it to make like it was sort of a hill, but it didn't work very well. But that's what you do when you're learning a game. You don't have to worry about the little details. Just get the miniatures and the rules and some D20s and go to town playing the game. So hopefully you can get into it. It's something for me either, but boy, it seems like, yeah, no, I mean, most of the gaming stores here in Atlanta, you go any Saturday and there's a Warhammer game, at least one, unless there's a tournament, and then sometimes there's no tables available. The gaming store I go to is really good about letting people know that, hey, Saturday there's a Warhammer tournament, which lets you know that you might not want to come if you're going to try to like run Frostgrave. They have non-wargaming tables like card gaming and for D&D that you can sit down at. But if you want to bring a war game on certain weekends, if they're playing a Warhammer tournament, you might as well give it up, because you're just not going to find a place to sit down or put your stuff. All right, I think the blue is done. No, it's not. I still got his collar. Just when you think you're done. Something disappeared. This guy is, I mean, this is like painting 10 minis, maybe more, maybe 20. It's like never ends. It's just like, oh yeah, I found this place I didn't paint. One thing I have really noticed, and I hope maybe some of y'all have too, is I've been painting now for 14, 15 years, painting minis. And what I've found is I can tell that my hand has gotten steadier. My technique has gotten a little better, especially when it comes to like free painting, like what I'm doing here, which is like trying to stay away from certain areas. I can look at what I'm doing. I go, not too bad. There's some mistakes. If you look close, you'll find an occasional mistake and stuff like that. But I'm really, really happy with how time has allowed me to improve my painting. Now, I'm not going to win any awards, but that's not what I'm going for. I just want to try to do a good job so it looks good on the table. But for something this size, I find myself going, you know what? I'll go a little slow and try to make it as good as I can, because this is a nice presentation piece that could maybe convince somebody to try the game. It just looks cool on my desk. So I don't have a lot of cool miniatures this size to put on my desk. So this is going to have to do it, man. And now I jinxed myself, because now I got to get in there really tight, and the lighting is not good. So I got to watch my hand shake. All right, not too bad. So he's got this blue collar that goes all the way around, and it's got this lip, and you got to get the lip or it won't look right, because the neck is I don't know how to describe it. I'll take some close-up pictures of it when I'm done, finally all said and done. But very cool miniature. All right, I'm just going to freehand this and have the pink or the I have this, which if I make mistakes, I can go back and make some little corrections. But so far, I am knocking it out of the park here. Yeah. All right. He's done with his blue. Set that aside. And I'm going to paint something else. So I got 9 folks on here. Guys, if the video quality or sound ever dodges, if it starts getting a little sketchy, let me know. I just want to make sure that I'm doing, giving you guys. I did a live stream like earlier this week, and I didn't watch it. I just posted it, and because I was in it. And then somebody posted a comment about how they couldn't watch it. It was watchable because of the quality. So I went back and watched it, and yeah, it was horrible. So I apologize for that. David, what this is, that is Galactus. He's not done yet. This is the bad guy from the Fantastic Four movie coming up. Major comic book villain, if you know the Marvel villains. He eats planets, and he's standing on the moon's surface, if you can see this. But this is for a game called Marvel United. And normally you just play small heroes versus villains this size. But this is an expansion where you can go up against Galactus with multiple heroes. And he came not painted, but molded in a color like this pink or this magenta, but it was a darker color. So I spray painted him this color. And now I'm going over him with blue, and I'm going to get his face and stuff. But you can see the hero versus the size of Galactus there. This is one of those games that I never thought in a million years I'd be interested in it. I do like Marvel stuff, Marvel movies, Tony Stark, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange are my 2 favorite heroes. But I've got a son who likes to play this. So when you find a game your kid's willing to sit down and play with you, you will paint up miniatures to make it, more fun. I saw this being played at a game store, and they didn't paint up the minis or the Galactus or anything. And I was just like, I never critique other people. I just saw it, and I was like, oh man, it just screamed to be painted. So when I got mine, I can't be a hypocrite. I was like, ooh, I better paint that thing, because I was sort of like frowning on the ones that were playing it. All right, let's do this. So now what I want to do is these are called large constructs. Brian painted. He printed these for me in resin. So I gave them, they were black resin. I gave them a white primer. And then I had this thing called hammered bronze. And the hammered paints from Rust-Oleum, I think they're Rust-Oleum. They're the metallic, but they give it, there's like a texture to it. It's called hammered, and it gives it a texture. And so I like the looks of them, but these are enchanted. So what I want to do is I want to hit each one of them with some bright paint to hit the runes on them that, like, they're empowered. I'm going to try red. And if red doesn't show up, then I may go with baby blue. Anyway, but I just don't know. Let's try red first. So this is what I do on a Friday night when my wife's not in town. I paint miniatures. I know she's going to call soon. Like, what you doing? I'll be like, painting miniatures. And she'll be like, what did I marry? She knows I love my hobbies, so she doesn't give me much grief. She doesn't understand my hobbies. She doesn't want to. She doesn't really. It's not her thing, and I don't fault her. I wish she would play a war game with me, because I think she might enjoy it. But no, this is not her thing. This is my thing, and I'm happy to keep it my thing. All right, so man, these runes. What I thought is I could paint it on and then wipe it with my finger. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to paint the rune. I don't have to wipe it with my finger. I actually did a pretty good job. Can you see the egg there? There it is, right there. I'm not gonna. Hey, Tyler, welcome. Sorry, Tyler, if you're coming. You probably were on time. I was late with a tech support. I was having trouble getting live going, so sorry about that. So yeah, so like I said, I bragged earlier that my hands are getting a little more stable when I paint details, but not really, but enough that I can fool it, right? I think the red will look okay. I may do blue on the other one just to see which one I like. Not a thing. Thank you, sir. Um, so is everybody home just in their workshop or in their office painting tonight, or just here to chat? And that's fine. I thought about doing this on Discord, but not everybody knows about my Discord channel just yet. I'm really trying to migrate over there. So here's what I want you to do. Future live chats, because I actually do want to chat with you, not read your chat messages. What I'm probably going to do is I'm slowly going to migrate over to Discord, because with Discord, you guys can log in and I'll see you and hear you. If you are not a member of my Discord channel, it's free. You can go sign up. It's the Tabletop Engineer. I think that's it. I tell you what I'll do. I'll paste the link to it on my Facebook page, and I'll paste it into the message for this video. And for the next, I don't know, 3 or 4 live streams, I'll just try to always remind everybody to migrate over to that. And then the dream is to move over to that full time. Not painting, working on some minis while printing some stuff is good. Can't go wrong with 3D printing. So I got, just so you know, I got this. I backed this Kickstarter recently. It was a painting wall mount. It came with some templates and some add-ons that like snap in, and I'm possibly this weekend going to start trying to print that, because I think it would look cool. I have a wall that I could put it to, and it would allow me to display all of my. Oh, it does wipe off. Never mind. I just learned something. It's so slippery that if I get it into the groove and I just slightly wipe my finger, it stays down in it. Nice, not bad. Okay. I'll try to remember the name of it, but it was just recently kickstarted and they sent all the files out to everybody. And so I've been going through the files trying to figure out what I want to do. But it's got custom holders for paint bottles. It's got like mounts for minis, brushes, organizational Kickstarter. I'm sure you'll be able to get the files on my Mini Factory, maybe even now, but I'll get you the name of it so you can check it out. But it looked pretty cool. It wasn't super expensive. And I had been looking for something to help me organize all my paints, because at this point, I've just got enough that I can't. I've got some in my box here beside me. I've got some downstairs on a wall. I've got some in another box. They're just scattered everywhere. And I'm like, you know what? It'd be nice to get it all organized. And so that is what I am going to do. And this is really painting all these runes is time consuming. Ugh. But it does make it look like it's sort of right. It's got magic flowing through it. I don't know. Let's see, what y'all saying? I tried to drop you a message, Tyler, on the other video. Hope you got it. Been finishing an encampment in ruins I got from my mentor. Yeah, I've got some new ruins that I've got them printed out. I've got so many things to paint. And I'm not complaining. I know you guys have it too. We all have it. It's kind of like your miniatures pile of shame, right? For me, it's also I have a pile of shame for my terrain that I really need to step it up and get them painted. All right, that looks good. He's got a red one across the hand here. Can I do that and then wipe it? Yes, I can. All right. Oop, I'm sorry, wrong way. Let's see how many we got. Oh, we got 10 on here. Wow, that's good. Um, so is anybody playing this weekend? Tomorrow's Saturday. I'm heading to Gigabytes here in Atlanta. Sorry about that. Here in Atlanta. I've got a group, and on Saturdays I'm playing Marvel Champions. So I'm going to be heading there in the morning to do that. Well, not the morning, probably 11 to 2 is usually what we end up playing. But if any of you are in Atlanta and want to come to Gigabytes tomorrow, I can introduce you to the group. If you've never played, we can get you a deck put together and you can test the game out. We're always looking for new players. So, all right, David. Hey, buddy. David, you said the other day on Facebook that you've been in the U.S. now for 14 years, 15 years. I can't remember. 14, 15 is what I seem to remember. I'm about to ask you if you still go to Gigabytes. Yes, I still go to Gigabytes not every Saturday. Last weekend I was in California for almost a week, so I didn't get to go to Thursday night Marvel Champions or Saturday just gaming in general. So 19 years. I was wrong. Wow. Well, we are glad to have you here, my friend. I don't know. I think you told me one time that you're not really like homesick, that this is now your home, but I hope you're not homesick. Being from Wales, I know that you were home recently, so I hope you got your fill there. And as a matter of fact, David, we need to catch up this week. I can spare you some time this week. Things have been a little, without going into a lot of detail, things have been crazy around the Kelly house for about the past month and a half, involving my oldest son. I don't want to go into a lot of detail, but he's good. We're getting some things straightened out with him. He's been for many years now. He has been fighting depression, and he's dealt with bullying. And as some of you can probably imagine, it has recently come to a head where we had to do something. So I've had to. It's funny when you have a kid who's just having some trouble, your whole life just goes on pause. You just sort of you do what you have to do to get them in a good place, no matter what that is. In this case, he's out in California right now, not forever. So, but it was very hard. So last week was the first time I'd seen him in about a month. And I got to go out there and spend 3 hours on one day and 4 hours on another. And it was well worth it. Long flight, relatively speaking, Atlanta to LA, and then a very, very short visits with him. That the length of time you're on the plane is not worth the amount of time they give you in together time. But and I'll complain about it. Hopefully they won't be watching any of my channels and hearing that, but it just didn't feel right. It was unbalanced. Thank you, David. Like I said, we're good. A month ago, I probably would not be saying that, but things are improving. I got way behind in my work. Got way behind in my work, and I've managed to slowly catch up. So now my wife, Ashley, she's out there this week. This is her week. We could go together, but we've got a younger son. So somebody has to be here to make sure he goes to school, which he could probably take care of himself. He can feed himself. The real issue is whether he would get up in the morning and go to school. So I hate to say it, but that's why one of us must stay around. He's a good kid, but if it were me, I probably would skip school. The kind of person I was back in high school. Yeah, if my parents went away for a few days, I'd probably skip at least one day, not the whole week, but at least once. So, yeah, things will get better. Things always, things will improve. I have to know that, right? I have to tell myself that because the alternative is the alternative. So he's doing much better. I speak to him every day for 5 minutes. They give us a 5-minute phone call every day, which is absolutely not enough time in the world. It's too short. I wasn't going to tell anybody this. I can't believe I'm sitting here spilling the beans about this. It's, but I think there's enough dads on here. Y'all understand. It's tough. That was the hardest day of my life, was flying him out to California and then flying back to Atlanta. But like they told us, they said it's not forever, and it will come to an end. And that's what I've sort of been looking to. It shall pass. Exactly. Thank you. Kidney stone. Oh, man. So anyway, there, I've bared my soul to you guys. Now you know a little bit more about me. Don't ever tell my son I spilled. I don't think he would care. He doesn't. He doesn't care if anybody knows. He was such in bad shape that he doesn't care if anybody knows. He just wants to get better. And so every day I speak to him, he sounds better. And when I do a Zoom call, we get a Zoom call twice a week for like an hour. And he looks healthy. He looks well rested, which he's never been. In the last few years, that poor kid has never been well rested. But now he's rested. He's eating better. He just looks better. And so as his dad, I can say that it's well worth it. So anyway, that's enough of that. I'm not going to paint the second one tonight. I'm going to wait to dry, and then I'm going to hit it with a dark shade and see what it looks like before I go before I spend any time painting the other one. So there he is on the red guy. Front, not too bad. Again, probably more mistakes than I would normally allow, but this is for a Frostgrave game, and rarely do you go up against, well, that's not true. There is a scenario coming up which these two will feature in. But if you just play normal core rules, core scenarios of Frostgrave, the odds of you rolling one of these is like 1 in 100, which we rolled today when I played Brian. But these will be in one of my solo Frostgrave campaigns coming up pretty soon. Yeah, pretty soon. So yeah, that looks cool. All right, you are done. And then I'll hit you with the dark wash. This miniature, I'm painting dungeon blocks. Oh, yeah. Are you doing the sci-fi or the fantasy ones? I think you said the fantasy, right? Sorry, I'm just reading. Hard not to, yeah. This one is a Maladam. Yeah, fantasy. That's what. This is a Maladam miniature. One of my laptop is going to die. Stay put. Hold on. Let me plug this in. Get the cable plugged in so I don't lose you. It goes battery. There we go. All right. So this is the rogue character named Narinda, I think. And I need to paint her up so I can, because the other 3 minis I play are painted, but this one, it bugs me when I have a bunch of painted minis and one that's not. So made a bunch with magnetic sensors. Nice. Yeah, I kind of figured you'd run with that. What he's talking about is this 3D. It's called Dungeon Space Blocks. If you go to My Mini Factory and search Dungeon Blocks, you'll find it. And it's really cool. You print out this grid system as big as you want. And I've got a 3x3, and it took a long time. And then these blocks just drop into the holes, and it holds them so they don't rattle around. And they're interchangeable, so everything, you can move things around real fast. You can change the walls or trees or whatever. But I need to print up some more. Did you see that they just announced a new one called the Creepy Swamp? I think it's called the Creepy Swamp. It's going to be blocks that go in that are swamp based. So you used them in a video. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I've used them. Hey, Brian Swift. Welcome. Brian, are you home? Brian came over and played a game with me today. So I assume he's back home now. Long drive, couple hours. Brian played a Frostgrave, and then he ran over to another gaming store here in Atlanta called Level Up. And I think he was impressed because he texted me, wow, when he got there. So I think he liked it. But yeah, Level Up Games is impressive. I think it's a little bit bigger. I know. It's bigger than Gigabytes in terms of size, but they're spread out more. I think they're it looks. I mean, it's a bigger store, but if you took all their merchandise and compacted it, I think I could be wrong, but I think Gigabytes probably has more stuff. But they definitely have more wargaming tables and more Magic or card game tables. So, but yeah, Brian, I'll have to hit you up and see what you thought about it. It is a cool store. It's like an hour from me. So you just walked in. No, wait a minute. You're just now getting there? It's 9:00. Just walked in. What are you doing? Oh, just walked into your house. I'm sorry. I'm losing it tonight. You walked into your home. I was like, you're just now getting to Leveled Up. Are you crazy? Level Up is definitely one of the more popular stores here, gaming stores here in Atlanta. It's just like I said, it's an hour's drive for me. So I don't make it there very often. I think I've been twice now, and in the 14 years I've been playing war games. That should tell you. I mean, it's been there for a while, so I don't know 14 years, but I knew about it when it first got around. People were talking about it, but it's in a place called Duluth, and it's just too far. So every now and then, a friend of mine who wants to play Frostgrave, he called me once and said, "Hey, let's play at Level Up." So I drove out there, and it was awesome. Brian says Gigabytes has. Yeah, I kind of think so. I think Gigabytes is just like everything's like together. Floor space wise, but Level Up, they just have a much bigger space. But I think that gives them the ability to spread out all their shelving and stuff, and it's bigger, wider areas to walk and stuff like that. But I'm glad you made it home safe, my friend. That makes for a long day. All right. So this is, as I mentioned, this is a character for the game. If you haven't watched my Maladum videos, Maladum is a fantasy version of Core Space. I love Core Space. I don't play it very often anymore. I play Core Space, and then I just burn out because it's got so many rules. It's not just core. I mean, Maladum's the same way. It is an insanely just so many rules to remember and little intricate things. And Maladum's the same way, but I'm hoping I want to finish them, at least the basic 20 campaign, before I take a break from it. But Core Space, I take frequent breaks. But now that I've been playing Maladum for a couple weeks, now I want to go back and play Core Space because it's a great game to play multiplayer. It's a great game to play solo, and it has its own theme. It's got its own lore. It uses more tiles to create the dungeon, the rooms and stuff. It's just really well done. And if you haven't watched any of my Maladum videos, I've got a few out now, so you can get an idea of what it is. But Maladum, I tend to like sci-fi. So that's why I like Core Space. But when I heard they were going to make a fantasy version of it, it was hard to say no. I was like, okay, I'm going to. And I don't regret it. It's a lot of miniatures to paint. It's a lot of rules to memorize. And but I bought it, I backed it, and I got it. So I'm going to play it. And oh, man. Okay, there we go. I'm not giving this one a whole lot of attention. Can we get a shout out to Brian's Terrain Company? We sure can. Brian's Terrain Company is called Yellowhammer Terrain Crafting. Got it. Yellowhammer Terrain Crafting. He will custom. He will, if you've got some files and you don't have a resin printer, reach out to him. He'll negotiate with you. He can print them for you. He also sells his own terrain. Like he gets licenses from creators, and then he 3D prints the terrain. He sells it unpainted and painted. His painted stuff is phenomenal. I would buy it, but I paint my own terrain. But I will say Brian is a much better terrain painter than I am. He has a style. That's the best way I can describe it. His way of painting the roofs and the stonework and stuff, I don't know how to describe it other than it has this almost not a cartoonish look, but definitely a fantasy. I'm at a loss for words, but the colors he chooses and the way he does it, it's like he doesn't worry about making mistakes, because the mistakes are all part of making it look natural. It's the roofs, for example. He'll just, but it's so well done that when you see them all together on a table, it's really cool to see. I think if Brian, and I hint here, Brian, I think if Brian ever decided to make his own Frostgrave table, I would probably be jealous, because I suspect that when he paints his stuff, it would look, it would put my Frostgrave stuff to shame. Which I love my Frostgrave stuff, but I think Brian could probably do a better job. I know he could. So, all right, Yellowhammer tapes. I thought it was Yellowhammer Terrain. I'll get it one of these days, Brian. I'm sorry, buddy. So we have here in Atlanta, we have Southern Fried Game Expo, which is coming in June of this year. We also have, the reason I'm bringing this up is Brian was here because he went out to Level Up, because they announced recently a new, that is not the color I wanted, darn it. He announced the owner there is going to be creating a convention here in Atlanta. Brian, do you remember the name of it? Is it called Level Up Con or Level Con or something like that? I really can't remember the name, but I know it's something related to the business. But it's going to be, I guess, it's either sponsored or run by Level Up Gaming. And I got to tell you, their store is impressive, and I've got to think they'll do a really good job of running a convention. Atlanta has conventions. There are other conventions that I usually don't frequent. There's MomoCon. There's this new one called Dyson Diversions, which I went to this year. That one's in January. What else? MomoCon, Southern Fried. They have a lot of. Well, Dragon Con, that's a given. I was just thinking of some of the smaller ones I'm trying to remember the names of. But I'm very glad to live in Atlanta where we have those kinds of things. LUG Con, it's called Lug Con, or is it called Level Up Gaming Con? I could see it called Lug Con. That's kind of cool. Although some people may go Lug, I don't get it. But Level Up Gaming, it's probably going to be called Level Up Gaming, right? I suspect they'll keep their name in it. It wouldn't make sense for them not to get some sort of advertising benefit for the store. So my guess is it's going to be called Level Up Gaming Con, but could be wrong. So this one is a rogue. So the rogues are the easiest. Just paint them all dark gray or black. Their clothes, and you're done. And then, of course, I've got to go back and paint all the detail work. He's got some sword. She's got some swords and things that I'm going to have to hit. But the majority of it, I can just do this dark, black, gray. Do you have a favorite convention you've been to? Well, yeah. I mean, I've been to Gen Con. Now, Gen Con is not my favorite. It's awesome, and I went like maybe 8 years, and then I stopped going just because I kind of just got burned out on it. I got tired of the cost. I got tired of fighting over trying to find a decent hotel. You have to get into their lottery system to, to get a room. And if you get a bad draw, you're just out of luck. You'll get some hotel that's 10 blocks away or further. And I would say Southern Fried. I mean, it's a local, it's Atlanta, but I typically go to small conventions like Mace, Mythicon. I've been to, I've been to some in Florida. I went to Pensacon. I went to the one in Tampa. And most of the ones I go to, they tend to be like Dragon Con. They cover everything: gaming, movies, comics, cosplay, everything. But my favorite would be Southern Fried, and only because it's local. I don't have to travel for it, and that's always convenient. But also, it's just I know the people who own it and run it, and they are just really good guys, and they are gamers, and they just put on a good show. They really know how to win it over, and they're the ones that approached me years ago when they were trying to grow it, and they said, "Hey, we'd like to get RPG." It used to be just arcade, pinball, and retro games, Atari, Commodore, that kind of stuff. Then they added board games. They've been around 10 or 11 years now, I think. Then a couple years after they started it, they added board games, and that grew really fast. And then they called me and they said, "Hey, what do you think of us adding RPGs?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, RPGs, you just need, 5 to 10 tables. You don't need 100 tables because this is not going to be Gen Con. You need enough to test the waters. And so I remember the first year they did RPGs, we had about 4 or 5 DMs. The Adventurers League from this area, which is an organized group, they sent over 2 or 3 DMs, which was really awesome because they know how to play entry level games for new people. So there was a lot of people that showed up, and we advertised it as, learn to play, sit down, we'll have your characters and you can play. And then it was the year after the RPGs that they asked me if I had any other ideas. And I said, well, wargaming. So that was the first year they had a, not Warhammer, but the other one, the fantasy one. I just went blank on it. Just went blank on it. They had a tournament for the fantasy Warhammer game, whichever, not the D one that's got like a really wild Sigmar, Age of Sigmar. Thank you. Couldn't come up with the name of it. Age of Sigmar. Yes, that was the one. And it was the tournament went really well. It was very popular. And as a matter of fact, I think they held it again last year. Because they found an organization here in Atlanta that runs it. The Southern Fried doesn't run it. They just set up the tables, and this organization comes and they set up all the terrain and they do it. They run it with referees and everything like that. Now we've tried to push other war games, and a friend of mine, William, who is here in Atlanta, he is the president or leader of the Historical Society or Wargaming Society. He came out and he set up a World War II game. I can't remember which one he ran. Somebody else ran a tank game. And then somebody ran a modern warfare game set in like a, Iraqi type, setting with like terrorists and soldiers and stuff. It was well done. People would come in and they'd walk around and they'd look. There were some people that played, but it never really got like packed in those rooms. So I don't know. I stepped back 2 years ago. I told I needed to take a break, and because at the time I was what they call the they had a name for it. I don't remember, but it was like the head guy for different. They had a head guy for board games, a head guy for arcade. I was the guy for role playing games and war games. And they got somebody else to do it, which I'm grateful for because I was kind of burned out on it. And I assume that they're going to do it again this year, but I haven't really heard. But last year they had plenty of Warhammer or wargaming tables. They have some vendors that are there. There's a guy here from Atlanta, well, Fayetteville, named Alan. He has a store here in Fayetteville. He brings up he sets up a huge vendor area, miniatures and dice and all kinds of stuff. And he also runs demo games. That was the one thing I thought was really cool, was when Alan came, they gave him like 3 or 4 tables. And so he was running like a Marvel Crisis Protocol. He was running a, what's that one game? The one from Italy, the sci-fi game, Infinity. I think he was running an Infinity game. Others, and he was just demoing them. He had his own employees there, and they would like set it up and stuff like that. It was really, really well done. And I'm hoping he'll be back this year. I don't know. We shall see if he can make it. Alan tours quite a bit. He goes to a lot of conventions. So I'm always surprised. I never know, if he's going to make a certain convention or not. But yeah, if you can ever get to Atlanta, they currently hold Southern Fried at the it's the Renaissance Waverly Hilton, I believe that's what it's called. Renaissance Hilton Waverly, or Renaissance Waverly Hilton. You can stay at that. They got tons of room. They don't ever seem to run out of rooms, for people who want to stay on the site. And it's a huge hotel, and it's connected to the convention center. So it used to be that they only were in the hotel, and the hotel's huge. And so when they announced that they were also going to be spilling over into the convention center, that's when I was like, holy cow, they really have gotten big, because they moved the arcade and pinball, which used to be in its own area. They moved it into the convention center, and it's huge. It's loud too. You go in there and it's just like, remember the old arcades? You'd walk in and just 100 arcade machines all blipping and blooping and stuff. Imagine that with about 100 pinball machines going, maybe more, and kids and parents and everybody talking and laughing and stuff. Imagine that in a convention center that's got a cement floor, right? It's like a size of a football field, but just imagine that, the echoing and the noise in there. It is. I go in, I'll play a couple arcade games, maybe a pinball game, and I have to leave because I can only take so much of the noise level before it starts getting on me, and I have to go decompress. My wife's birth family is in Covington. We should try to make a trip at the same time as this convention. I'd love to have you all over, of the workshop downstairs, if you ever can make it this way. That's a standing invite. I always make that offer to anybody who comes to Atlanta. If you want to come say hi in person, I will be glad to entertain. Brian came over for, got around 10 to 2. Yeah, about 4 hours. So I can give you 4 hours, and then you got to get, because I got stuff to do. After Brian left, I rushed. As a matter of fact, those of you who are backers of my zines, I'm sending out, if I can get to it, I'm sending out Delver and the brochures tonight. I was hoping to send them out this last week. I guess Friday, we're still in the week, but they're going out tonight. And my tech editor, well, not my tech editor, my copy editor for Runes, she lives in Asheville. And she's supposed to be getting me the runes. Like she said she'd get it by the end of the week. Now I took that as Friday. It could be tomorrow, but as soon as she gets that to me, I'll make whatever changes and edits that she provides to me, and then I'll get those PDFs or that PDF of runes out. But if you're a backer of Runes and Delver, those the Delver and the 2 brochures PDFs should go out tonight. Hoping tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. It depends on how tired I am. David says, heading out for dinner. Everyone have a great weekend. David, take care, buddy. I hope everything's going well out in California for you. Thanks for coming on board and joining tonight. All right, let me do some flesh color here. And by the way, guys, you don't have to, whenever it starts dropping off, I'll drop off as well. I'm the only one here tonight with my young son, so he's up playing video games, and he really doesn't care if I paint until midnight. He's doing his thing. We went out for dinner tonight. Usually when it's just me and him, you know what I just did, don't you? Well, that was peachy flesh. If any of you would like to paint miniatures with flesh tonight, please come over now before this dries. Wow, I hate when that happens. We went out to dinner tonight and got burgers. Normally, I'm not supposed to have burgers. I'm not supposed to eat a lot of red meat, and my wife tells me not to, to cut back on burgers. But we went to get burgers tonight because it's his favorite thing. And I'm not. What am I going to do? Have him eat a burger in front of me, and I'm not going to have one. So I had a burger as well. So that was his dad time. He got dad time, and now he's fine, and he'll go and disappear for hours until he gets hungry again. Usually 11 o'clock at night. 11 o'clock, he'll come down. I'm hungry, and I will have to fix him something. And I'm trying to think what hair color would look good on this one. I guess I could leave it white, but then he looks like the hero and from the books. I can't remember. I can't even pronounce his name, but you know who I'm talking about. No, I'm going to paint the hair. I don't want it white. What do I want? I could give it red, but red's not what. Or is it? Yeah, let's make her a redheaded thief. Redheaded thief. Drizzt it. Thank you. I can never drizzed it, whatever the name is. I don't want it looking too much like him, so I'm going to give her red hair instead of white hair. And there is my wife calling. So let me just tell her I'm going to call her right back. Can I call you back in just a bit? I'll call you right back. Bye. All right. Love you. Bye. Sorry about that. She doesn't care. She's in California. She's on California time. It's 6 there. So let me finish up with you here, and I'll give her a ring back. So anybody playing any war games this weekend? Anybody got something new that they're playing that I've never heard of or never played? I did start playing Halo. I don't know if anybody here is playing this new Halo game. It's not too hard to find players here in Atlanta. I went out and I played a game at a gaming store, and I really liked it. What I really like about it is I only had to paint 4 minis. You play with four of the Marine. They're not Marines. They're called whatever they're called. David, let's talk this next week. Let's talk. Touch base with me on Monday, and we'll catch up and see what we can come up with. It's good hearing from you, pal. Have a good evening. If you haven't checked the Halo game and you're looking for a new war game, I can tell you it's fun. Is it cheap? I don't think it's cheap for what you get. It's because it's a name brand video game. There's a licensing fee, which means they're probably having to charge a little extra for the game. But what you get is you get 2 with the starter set, the Spartan set. You get 2 groups of 4, so you can play a 2-player game, and they're real easy to paint because they're oversized. They're probably almost double the size of this miniature right here. So they're real easy to paint. The detail on them is just simple. But what's cool about the game is it's fast. The rules are real easy to follow, and it has a respawn element. So when one of your character gets killed, it's just like in the video game. You can come in at a later time or at a different point and stuff, and you drop their weapons and people pick up their weapons and stuff. It's really just a crazy, crazy game. No games this weekend, just taxes. Sorry, bud. My family actually left for Arizona for spring break I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know, though. My family went on spring break a couple years back when I had COVID. And even though I had COVID and I was kind of miserable, I was sick, it was still kind of nice. I would never say that out loud. I don't want my youngest son to hear that and tell my wife. But they went and had their fun in South Florida, and I stayed home. And let me tell you, it was like the most peaceful 4 days I'd ever had. 5 days, really. I got over the sick after like 2 or 3. I was where I could do things. Like the first 2 days I was on the couch, but it was cool because all I did was watch TV. And then the last 3 days I was recovered. But I was still maybe contagious, so they didn't want me to fly down there or anything. So I stayed here, and it was very cool. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you're okay with that. Maybe you're not. But sometimes it's nice to. That it had been a long time before that, before I had COVID, before I'd had time to myself, like where the family went away. One time my wife went home to see her family, and she let me stay by myself, but it was only for 2 days, and it went really fast. If I do any gaming, it'll be Stargrave. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I've got another campaign starting up. Is it this week? 25th? 20? No, 20. No. It's next week, April. It was on the 25th that I uploaded. So 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 31. It'll be Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. I think it's Wednesday that I'm starting up a new Stargrave campaign, solo campaign. So you're hearing it here, hearing it here first. And I forgot to paint the skin on. What did I do with the skin? Shoot, I think it's this. No, that is not the skin, but it will work in a pinch because it's that color. All right, there we go. All right, I'm calling her done. I just wanted to get enough paint on it to put it on the table and play with it. So yeah, done. Now I need the matte black for the base. That's exciting. Can't wait. Yeah, I like Stargrave. Stargrave and Frostgrave definitely are two of my favorite games, and Stargrave I love. One of my complaints about Stargrave is that it's all about ranged weapons. You know, everybody's got, you know, a laser pistol or a laser rifle and stuff. So unlike Frostgrave, where there's a lot of melee combat, I find with most Stargrave games, everybody tends to get hit and killed at a distance. So it's a different type of strategy. Now that's not, you know, every now and then there is some hand to hand, but usually if you get in hand to hand, it usually can go either way. I mean, when you're shooting a ranged weapon, there's no risk of your character getting hit. You're just shooting. With Frostgrave, you have to get into melee, and its attack is considered sequential or simultaneous. So you may attack the other guy, but if he was higher, he's going to kill your guy. With Stargrave, you're shooting at somebody from a distance, and there's no risk to your shooter. So it takes. Whenever I play Stargrave, I always have to change my mindset. I always have to sit down and think about it, because you come at the game differently than you do Frostgrave. The mechanics are very similar, but the strategies and the tactics mostly are totally different. Now, your captain and your first mate, they do have powers, and those work like spells. So, but again, most of the time those are done at a distance. So again, you're dealing with range stuff. My printer has barely stopped all this week printing scenery. Let me know, email me or message me and tell me what scenery you're using, because I'm always on the lookout for more sci-fi terrain. I've got enough fantasy terrain to last me forever, but sci-fi terrain is funny. I'm picky. I'm picky about my sci-fi terrain. I don't want it to look too generic, which is what my sci-fi handmade terrain, it always looked the same. I always had that boxy style. I'm always looking for new sci-fi terrain that's different and unique. And as a matter of fact, I'll trade you. You tell me what you're printing, and I'll go down and I'll get you the name of some of the stuff I'm printing just recently from my Stargrave campaign, and I'll give you that. I'll give you the name. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I've got the My Manufactory link, so I can definitely get that to you. I hope this is not leaking through. It's not. Okay, that is done. I need to paint her base. No, I don't. I already did it. Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. I am at a loss. Is this the black? No, it's not. More black paint, please. So anyway, I'm going to be on for probably I'll be on for another 10 minutes. How about that? I'm going to finish the base on this one and then wrap up with y'all, answer any last minute questions you guys may have. I do appreciate y'all joining me on a Friday night. I certainly don't expect it, but I do like to know that others are enjoying their hobby and maybe sitting around painting some miniatures or playing some games. Richard Moody says print minis on my mini factory has great drink. It's called Print Minis. I will check it out. Like I said, I don't have enough variety of sci-fi terrain. I'm really getting back into 3D printed because for so many years I made my own terrain, handmade, and some of it has held up, some of it has endured, and some of it has not. And this is by the way, I just needed to paint her base, and she's going to be fun to play. It's a fun game, Marvel United. If you haven't played it and you ever come to Atlanta, let me know. And if you want to play it, I'll set up a game. It plays very fast. It's very fun. It's got some cool strategy and the mechanics are really, really cool. But what I really like about it is it's a cool family game. It's cooperative. Everybody can play together. You team up with your heroes, and they've got a million heroes for it. So if you've got a favorite hero, you can probably get it and paint it. All right. Yeah. Thank you for sending me the names. I really do appreciate it. I'll try to remember when I get yours, it'll remind me to go down and get the one I just printed up this one. It's about this big. It's a good size one. It's multi-level and it looks like an observation base. It's got a fat area on the bottom and then it sort of tapers and it's got some like outpost looking thing on the top. I even think it has a garage door. It doesn't work, but it looks like it has like a door that would open. And when I saw it, obviously, when you find a piece of terrain you like on My Mini Factory, you click the creator and then you go diving into what all else they've made. And so it was a bad rabbit hole because I saw it and I was like, oh, that is awesome. Click the creator name. And then all the other, and I was like, oh, this is going to cost. But fortunately, the one I'm talking about, Eric, is he has bundles. So you get like a collection of them for a pretty decent price. And okay, Print Minis. I will go check out Print Minis when I get off here. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. I just can't get enough of it. Let's see. People are starting to drop off. So let me go ahead and apologize again. I meant to start this tonight at 7:30. I ran about 10 minutes late, but once I got the computer up and running, YouTube would not connect to the live stream. I rebooted. I did a whole bunch of stuff. Finally, after like 20, 25 minutes, it finally did. So I'm thankful that those of you who wanted to be here at 7:30 and were probably here at 7:30, I'm glad you came back and checked. Because if I do a live stream and it's a technical issue, I'm going to keep trying. Sometimes life hits you with, an emergency or something and you just have to cancel at the last minute. But this was not a cancellation. This was a tech glitch. And I'm appreciative of you guys checking in and joining me. All right. So what's next? Let's see. Today is Friday. Sunday night, I got to look at my schedule because my wife gets back Sunday. Sunday night, I'm thinking about doing a Discord painting session again. So you would be able to join. I'll see you, you'll see me, and we can paint and chat it up. If I don't do it Sunday, I'll probably do it Tuesday. I think Tuesday will probably be the better time. Right now, what I'm trying to do is get to figure out the days that work for me and my wife and work and other people and see what works. Right now, Tuesdays are great. Tuesdays seem to be really good for a lot of people. I used to do it on Wednesday, but I can't do it on Wednesday right now because Wednesday nights from 6 to 8, sometimes 6 to 9 local time here in Atlanta is when I have a call with California. So that's why I'm no longer able to do it on Wednesday nights. That won't last forever, but by the time that does end, it may be a habit of meeting on Tuesdays. So we'll just stick with Tuesdays for right now. All right. If anybody's got any last minute questions, I'll give you 30 seconds to a minute to type it up, and then I'm going to bail and pack away. Yeah, my eyes, I need to give them a rest and need to probably over there who's been very kindly watching me, asking me to play, but going to go give her some time. All right, everybody. Y'all have a great weekend, and thanks again for joining me, and I'll hopefully see everybody either Sunday or Tuesday. Y'all take care.